What is up, everyone? We are back after a short hiatus. Welcome to the fantasy scene. Myself, my good friend Ross. Ross, welcome back. How's everything? How was the weekend?
Very good. Very good.
Very nice. So, Ross, we made a trade today. In our league. We're in a league together. So, Ross decided to give me the first overall pick and his 14th pick for my second and third. But just keep in mind, I also had the second overall pick. So, I get the first two picks in the draft. See what I could do with that. But I'll tell you one thing I'm not drafting in those first two picks. It's going to be a starting pitcher. But we're going to start. Today is all about the starting pitcher. I have promised everyone a good episode today. So I have to deliver, Ross. I have to deliver. Okay? So my question to you is this. Is it a two-man race for the top two? I mean, is it Cole DeGrom, is that really, is it those two? I mean, there's, I know you're a tier guy, so it's top two tiers. Those two guys are, monsters.
I just don't have two guys. I have Scherzer, Kershaw, Bieber, Greinke, Cole, and I have Kluber in the first tier. Strasburg.
Whoa, hold on, time out. Kluber.
Now,
Kluber?
Everyone may be saying, oh, Kluber's an injury risk, blah, 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 blah. Kluber is a stud. He's proven he's a stud. He's going to pitch on the Yankees. He's healthy. He is my first tier guy. Now, do you draft him in the first and second round? No. Why? Because no one thinks he's a first tier guy. So Kluber is a first tier guy that you can get later on. Me personally, I got Kluber in my auction draft in the big league, 20 teams. I paid $30 for him. Now, to give you an example, starting pitchers are going for $60, $70. So for me personally, I think Kluber pitching on the Yankees, when you're talking about wins, well, our league depends upon wins. Kluber can be a stud. He can give you great ERA and whip also. Strikeouts 100% he's going to give you regardless. So I see Kluber as a first-tier guy. No? You like Kluber and not that much.
Okay. We here at the fantasy scene do not authorize or stand by anything Ross just said. Those are the views and everything of Ross. I just want to put that disclaimer out there because Ross had told me that he had 2 glasses of wine prior to this. I'm going to account that this is strictly alcohol.
This is already written on paper. So,
oh my God, you sure?
This is already written.
Put your glasses back on.
I'm going off what's written on paper.
My God,
definitely
Ross, we had 15 viewers. They said Kluber. We went to 1.
I mentioned Strasburg could also be there if he can stay healthy.
Hold on. So hold on. Ross, hold on. I gotta ask you a question. You just told me that Strasburg could be there if he could stay healthy, but a lifetime injury risk of Kluber, who's been injured, all of a sudden is a oh my Jesus. Okay, but what about? Hold on. There's one. Hold on. Wait, I just thought about this. I listened to the names.
Where's DeGrom?
No, DeGrom is 1. DeGrom is 1A. Okay, I'm a Yankees fan. He's the best pitcher in baseball. Let's call it what it is. Okay?
He is, but you have to listen. You can't chase wins. That's 100% for sure.
100%, but DeGrom, depending again in a points league, DeGrom is not as if he continues to do his wins the way he does, DeGrom is not as valuable in a points league. If it's a rotisserie league, DeGrom is an absolute monster.
That's different.
100%. I get where you were going with it, but in terms of, but there's one name, Ross. It's slipping my mind. Some guy this year he signed an obnoxiously large contract.
He's
That
he's not in my first two tiers. No.
But hold on, he got paid like one.
Well, listen. Personally, I think he's gonna have a good year. I'm not saying he's not a top pitcher. I just don't see him as a top 10 pitcher.
He's in a third tier for me.
I mean, listen, for me, I have him outside top 10.
All I'm going to say is this: is on that note, on the note of Trevor Bauer, all I'm going to say is stay tuned.
You talking about Trevor Bauer?
Trevor Bauer.
That's who you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about that scrub that just signed an obnoxious contract in for Los Angeles. Literally dragged them across the coals. But my thing, I mean, a couple names you didn't. I didn't hear you mention. I could be wrong. I didn't hear you mention Walker Buehler, who for me, you know, of the two, I think Walker Buehler is actually the better of the two pitchers on the Dodgers.
I got him outside the top 10, Joe.
Also, real quick, I know that I see we got a bunch of comments. Guys, if you are commenting on Facebook, I just need you to add StreamYard. It's literally a click. You'll see below the link. It has a link. Just click it. This way I could see the names, because right now I see the comments. I just don't see who's saying them, and we want to kind of interact. Whoever it is a Yankees fan, but he's like, Ross United. He said maybe 5 years ago Kluber was a top seed, but it's whatever.
In fantasy, it's all opinion. Ross's opinion is
never
going to be a stud this year. Mark it down on the calendar. Check. And then
Ross,
come back to me 6 months from
Ross,
now.
I'm saving this video. I am saving this
Come
video.
back to me 6 months from now. Oh my God, Ross, you made some fucking pick. No person.
I mean, for me, my top tier is a little bit of a smaller variety. You know, for me, it's Cole, it's DeGrom, it's
I mean,
Bieber.
you gotta throw Kershaw in there. You gotta throw Bieber.
I got Giolito in my top tier.
And not in the top tier, Joe. I mean, I have him just outside the top 10.
But again, for me, I think that this is just the same way that you feel that he's gonna make that jump. For me, I feel this is the year that Giolito, because now Giolito comes out of that ace role. They put Lance Lynn in that ace role. Now he's going against the twos. He's not going against the ones. You know,
I'm not saying you're wrong, Joe. I mean, you can listen, when it comes to pitching changes every single year.
Yeah, I mean, I accepted Kluber being in the first tier. You have to accept Giolito being in the first tier.
Listen, I can't listen. If Giolito was there, I'm not going to be surprised. If Scherzer is a stud as he always is, are you going to be surprised? No.
I mean, with those guys, like you said, you know, you said it before when you mentioned Strasburg. With those guys, it's all about, you know, injury. You know, can they stay healthy? Can they play a whole season? I mean, we just don't know. I mean, that's, if you really think about it, Ross, you know, Kluber as well. That's the biggest question mark right now that we're facing with him, with the Scherzer, with
But all of them, Joe, every single pitcher these days are all in injury risk. Every single one.
100%. Well, they baby them. That's the problem. They baby these pitchers. Exactly. They baby them. Joe, they absolutely baby them.
The number one, I mean, on my list, I have a number one, and I really think that he's by himself. And I just think Cole is the number one pitcher overall. And I just don't think, because he has everything. He has ERA. He's got whip. He's got strikeouts. He's playing on the Yankees. He's going to get wins, and he has durability. For me, personally, if I had to pick one pitcher, he's my one pitcher.
Understood. So here's my question to you. I was gonna wait till a little bit later, but
you can't.
We have to do it. So we have a bunch of people watching. I'm gonna put a visual on the screen right now, okay? And Ross, I want you to rank the 6 pitchers I have on the screen, and I want the viewers as well. Please chime in. I'm going to put this up on the screen, and I want you to rank these 6 pitchers in order 1 through 6. And Ross, let me know when you're ready.
I don't see 6 pitches, Joe. I just
There's
see stats.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only stats. I didn't give you the names. No names. And there's a reason I didn't put names there.
You're going with the sneak attack.
Yeah, very sneaky, very sneaky.
So you're looking at.
I will tell you this.
Keep them up. We're gonna go with right now. Blue is number 1.
Blue is number 1. Okay.
Black is number 2.
Okay.
You got blue, black, beige.
The one on the end. The last one.
The one in the end.
Okay.
Yes. Then we have. You got to go with purple because of the innings pitched. Then we have orange and red.
Okay. Ross, I want to ask you a question. The other day, when filling out my roster, I gave you a specific name, and it's so funny that you would pick this name. And you responded back with the following comment. This person is garbage. Garbage. That was your word. I want you to know that you picked number 1 was Tanner Rourke.
But where were these numbers?
Those are career numbers.
Those are career numbers don't count. You can't put career numbers up.
No.
I
understand, but what I'm trying to
is number 1111.
No, right. But what I'm trying to explain is I'm going to bring up the number again. Forget about the fantasy aspect of things, okay? What I'm trying to bring to is that, everyone right now has like Trevor Bauer's nipple in their mouth, and they're sucking at the teeth as though he is this phenomenal pitcher. I want you to know the names on this list, okay? The 6 pitchers listed in no particular order. 1 is Trevor Bauer. Then you have Dallas Keuchel, James Paxton, Chris Archer, Jake Odorizzi, and Tanner Rourke. Okay? Can you tell me Keuchel was a staple name, right? Was a pretty staple name. But was anyone else
Archer is one of my sleepers because he's been picked.
He's back, correct. But Ross, Trevor Bauer this year, because they're doing exactly what they should. The Dodgers did exactly what they were not supposed to, and take onus on 60 games. Trevor Bauer makes more than the other 5 pitchers combined.
But
just so everyone knows, black is Trevor Bauer. Orange is Jake Odorizzi. The third option, the blue one, is Tanner Rourke. 4 is Chris Archer. 5 is James Paxton. And the last one is Dallas Keuchel. Okay?
The thing is, when it comes to pitching, Joe, pitching changes every year. You know that. You can't go by.
But Ross, but you have to. His history still has to play into.
Only if Bauer would have signed for $2 million, you wouldn't have this conversation. The only thing you're saying,
because that would have been his value.
But Joe, what's the difference? What the guy signed for? You have to get off what he signed for. What I'm asking you is, I'm not putting him as the number 1 pitcher. Forget about that.
I'm not saying you are. I'm trying to do
forget about what people are doing, Joe. It doesn't mean anything. What I'm saying to you is this, Joe. Where do you value Trevor Bauer? And the conversation there.
Trevor Bauer right now is probably for me, and I know everyone's going to think I'm crazy, okay? Trevor Bauer is no higher than 17th on my list of starting pitchers. Okay. I do not think that he's there.
But after my first 2 tiers, which is 12 pitchers, then comes the tier where Trevor Bauer is. So, Joe, we have him in the same spot. For you to keep emphasizing on Trevor Bauer, he was the top pitching free agent. He needed to get paid. Dodgers
but not like that. It just bothers me. It bothers me because he trolled everybody. That is okay. So now I know it's Jason. Okay, thank you.
Trevor Bauer did what he's supposed to do. He got paid.
Yeah.
Don't hate on the guy that got paid. Hate on the guy that paid him.
I'm telling you, the Dodgers paid for a mediocre third. He is going to get exposed pitching
Joe,
in the NL West.
what does Bauer have to do with that? You're blaming Bauer for getting paid?
Yeah.
Dodgers. But the Dodgers are the morons.
No, I'm not even blaming. I'm blaming Rachel Luba. That's who I'm blaming for him getting paid.
You can't blame Bauer for getting paid.
I'm not blaming him for getting paid, but the problem is that this year, this happens year in and year out. This year it happens to be Bauer. Next year will be someone else. And what happens is what happens. You have these guys. You guys have these guys like Bauer that now, okay, I'm looking at ADP, okay? Jason, I know Scott Boras started this crap, but Rachel Luba finished this disaster.
Before you go on, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
If Bauer wins 18 games, would you be shocked?
I'm not going to be shocked because of the team he plays on.
Wait. I asked you a question. Say yes or no.
No, I wouldn't be shocked.
Now, Bauer wins 18 games. Would you be shocked if he has a 3 and change ERA?
I would be very shocked if he had a 3 ERA, considering he's done it twice in his year.
3 and change. Let's just say he had a 3.5, 3.6 ERA. You wouldn't be shocked. If he had
I would be shocked. If he had a 3.5 ERA, I would 100% be shocked.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. Ross, he's done it twice in his career.
Okay, but if he had 220 strikeouts, would you be surprised? No, you wouldn't be surprised. So because Bauer has done a 3 and change ERA, because he has done 220 strikeouts, because he is pitching on the Dodgers and gets 18 wins, you're telling me that's not a top 10 pitcher?
Because Ross, but you're doing exactly what you told everyone the last 10 episodes not to do. You're taking last year into consideration, Ross.
No, I'm not. No.
You're 100%. If Bauer does not have that 60-game miracle last year, okay?
Forget about last year.
No.
Forget about last year.
So then, if you're forgetting about last year, there's no way there's no way you could say that he's going to be 18 wins, 4 ERA, and 220 strikeouts.
I'm saying this: Bauer has thrown for 220 strikeouts before,
twice in his life.
Well, he is a strikeout pitcher. He's pitching on a team with a stacked lineup.
Ross, he has gone strikeouts. Just so you understand, he has gone strikeouts twice in his life. 253, 221. That's it.
But he did it, Joe. But he did it.
Yeah,
so you can't if he does it again.
I once hit a home run in high school too. Do I think I could hit another one now? No.
I won't be shocked if you hit it again. If you hit one in high school, I won't be shocked because you did it before. So how can you be shocked if he strikes out 220 batters?
Because there's a thing, and there's a reason why it's called the rule of averages, Ross. It's a rule of averages. It's just a rule of averages. Take away last year, Ross. Look at his ERAs. In 19, he had a 6.3 ERA, 3.79, 4.48, 2.21.
If I was listening,
pitched awful.
I would say, why are they talking about Bauer so much? We know Bauer. We understand
because of social media.
Opinion.
Because of social media.
Bauer sucks. He's not going to do good. You got it. Next player. Paxton.
First off, Jason, I would like to say that I did hit a home run, to left field. I went oppo. Thank you very much.
I don't believe it.
Congratulations on the new baby girl. I hope her and mom are very healthy. We're going to spin the wheel in a little bit to decide the picks for next week's live draft on the air. We're going to spin the wheel to see who picks where. Going to be fun, so stay tuned for that. All right, so let's talk about someone that we're kind of we're in the middle.
I like Giolito, Joe. I think
I do. So Ross, I'm gonna bring up someone to you. The other night, my coworkers and I, we went out to dinner. And we're all big baseball fans. So obviously the baseball was the topic of conversation. And 2 of the participants were Mets fans. So they did not like when I said that the Braves were head and shoulders a better team and had a far better pitching staff than them.
Did you have to tell them the Mets suck?
I didn't have to tell them. I think they know this by now. But my question to you is this. what are your expectations? You kind of know what you're going to get from Charlie Morton. What are your expectations, Ross, on Max Fried and Ian Anderson?
Max Fried and Ian Anderson. See, this is the thing. In my second tier, I have maybe 25 pitchers. Now, now the thing is this. Not my second tier. I have my first line of pitchers, which is 20 pitchers, which I think are guys that can excel, who I like.
Okay.
Now, in my next row of pitchers, there's about 25 pitchers. Now, out of those pitchers, there's pitchers that I like a little more than other guys. Like, to give you an example, I have a guy like Bumgarner in my second, not my second tier, my second row of guys.
Okay. He's fallen off a little bit.
I mean, a guy like Hendricks. I mean, I think a guy like Ryu, who I think can excel. Now, Anderson, I like him. He's in that second row of 25 players after the first 20, because I just feel pitchers are, if you rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 50, it's because there's a row of players from 20 to 40 to 45. They can be just as good as the other. That's why I don't like numbers. So it's, who do you like? Do you like the Braves? Do you think Anderson is going to play well? Then you can rank him up a little bit. You can never rank Anderson in a first group of guys.
No. I wasn't expecting that. I was just curious as to where I'll be honest with you. You actually had them a little bit higher than I expected you to. I'm big on the Braves this year. I think the same reason why you feel that Garrett Cole is the top tier pitcher. I feel that the Braves pitchers get a boost because they are on that team and they're going to get wins. That team has a stacked lineup. They're going to get wins. I really think, wins is huge.
And I like Fried. I like Fried a lot. Fried is in my first 20. My first row.
Fried, not Fried. Fried is your eggs.
Fried. Fried, that's correct. Fried. But I'd like to fry him.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. Fried is a good, solid player. I have him in my first 20, and I have Morton there. See, the thing is, when I'm drafting pitchers, I look at how the draft is going. Now, I look to see, are my first 20 pitchers off the board yet? So now, when my next pick comes, if there's still 15 guys there, I don't need to pick a pitcher because I think that any one of these 20 can be really good. That's in a round-to-round draft. In an auction draft, it's a little different because you have to save money. So, to give you an example, when pitchers are going for $40, $50, I got pitchers that I liked under 20, like Herman from the Yankees, Eduardo Rodriguez, Marquise from Colorado, always solid, and Paxton. So now I got those guys on a bargain because I waited. I didn't go crazy on guys like Scherzer and Greinke and Bieber who went for 40 and 50. I saved my money on because I'm not looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the line. You understand what I'm saying, Joe?
No, I completely understand. And listen, pitchers. Listen, one thing that I've learned about pitchers is that every year, someone comes out of the woodworks to have this amazing year and whatnot. So speaking of that, who, Ross, is one player that maybe isn't in those top tiers, but you have high expectations, or you think can possibly be like, who's your sleeper? Like, who's the guy that you think that some people may be hesitant on or maybe undervaluing, that in your mind can really provide late round value? And
for me, sleepers are guys that you can pick really, really late and have great value. For me personally, guys like, if you have a keeper league or you have a large bench, Severino is a must for you to grab late. Phenomenal keeper for next year. Sale is another keeper for you to have next year. A guy that you want to have on your list is Tylon. He's going to be on. He should be good for the second half of the season, and of course Verlander as a keeper. These are guys as keepers. Now,
Okay.
Someone that you put on your bench, Tylon, of course, because he'll come back later on. Severino, another guy. These guys can be studs. And also, even though Sale hasn't been strong in the past couple of years, he's been injured. He's been banged up. A guy like Sale, you put him on your roster. He pitches his 3-4 games, gets assimilated. He can have a great August and September. So in my mind, those are actual sleepers.
Okay.
Now, middle tier guys that can excel, that didn't do good last year or maybe the year before, who have pedigree. I think Bumgarner can be great on Arizona. I think Ryu can have a big year in Toronto. I still like Wheeler. Wheeler has shown that he can be great on Philly. Another good guy, I like Hendricks on the Cubs. I know I mentioned him before. Glasnow, Tampa Bay. These are guys that I have marked off in my second 20 that I think can excel. And a guy like Darvish on San Diego. Darvish, is a strikeout pitcher. If he can go back to form from a couple of years ago, Darvish could be phenomenal.
I mean, listen, even if it goes to form from last year, Cy Young, I mean, it was there. For me, someone that I'm looking forward to watching, I've been a big fan of his from following him from Philadelphia down to Miami. I think this kid right now, I think he's like probably pegged to be in the 3 hole, but someone who I feel that really has ace potential and has outrageous stuff is Sixto Sanchez. I think Sixto he's a strikeout machine. The kid has, literally, he has blow by stuff. He's got really, really, really good stuff. So I think that he is someone that, again, you're looking at the Marlins, what can I really expect from them? He's like a diamond in the rough. In terms, same concept for you. Someone that I would look for in those later rounds. Again, in our area, is probably going sooner than he needs to. But someone in those keeper rounds, if you can steal him, is going to be Syndergaard. Listen, if this kid comes back and pitches to his potential and pitches to the way he was, he being a 2, possibly a 3 on the Mets, I think a Syndergaard late, and having him, for the rest of the season, supposedly supposed to be back July, August, and getting him as a keeper for next year, I think would be phenomenal. And then the last guy, honestly, is going to be right now he's not in the rotation, but I can't see how they keep the kid out for much longer. Going to the Dodgers, talking about a real pitcher, not that scrub in the 3 hole. I'm talking about Dustin May. Dustin May, tail end of that season, was an integral part to the Dodgers winning the World Series. The kid has got electric stuff as well. Someone that I'm looking for. And again, these are guys that you're gonna draft a little bit later than you would expect, just to fill for some depth. But again, you want to stay away from the names. The names are always going to jump up, like Bauer. They're always going to go earlier than they need to, and that's kind of the thing. Pitching is one of those places that I've learned from dealing with Ross or being in leagues. Pitching is something that you can really, really you can steal. You can steal it, and you can steal it pretty easy if you know what you're doing. 100% Angelo. Dustin May is absolutely better than Bauer, but for the casual fan, they're not going to say that.
The thing I see, Joe, is this, like you're saying with the pitching. The pitching is, I think that you can get quality pitching later. Now, there's a difference between a stud pitcher and a pitcher who has done it year after year, and a guy who could be there. Now, Sixto, I like him. I think he can be really good, throws a lot of strikeouts and all, but what has he really done? That's my only
he's been
question with
pretty
him.
well, let's pull him up really quickly. I mean, as far as his numbers, let's see. So last year, I mean, granted, small sample size. 7 games. He went 3-2, 39. Excuse me, 39 innings pitched, 33 strikeouts, 11 walks, 3.46 ERA, 1.2 WHIP. I mean,
but the thing is, Joe, if it was a full season last year and he came up in September and did that, you would say, oh, he came up in September and did that, but what can he do over a full year? It's the same exact.
No, 100%. I'm not putting him as a. This is someone that I think has potential to really surprise you. Really surprise you with this. I think he's really electric. And like I said, if you're looking for a later round pitcher, a later round pitcher that can fill in, you're going to get good value from him, is what I'm saying. I really think, I mean, and Angelo, I get it. You're agreeing with Ross, as far as you can't base it on that too small of a sample size. Absolutely. But, I'm also looking back to his minor league numbers. I'm looking back. So he has a track record of being excellent. There's a reason why he was the key piece in that Real Muto trade with Philadelphia. That was the piece that they wanted. Miami wanted him more than anybody. He was the cornerstone to that Real Muto trade. It had to be him. Otherwise, he wasn't going. Real Muto wasn't leaving Florida.
I mean, the prospects are nice. They come up. They're highly touted. They have a good couple of games. That, for me, I mean, you look at them, you draft them later on. But a guy who had small sample last year is a guy like Kim on St. Louis. I personally would prefer going with a guy like Kim before I went with Sixto. Now, that's just preference. I think Kim is going to have a great year on St. Louis. McCollus, if he's not injured, he can be tremendous also. That's another good pitcher on St. Louis. I mean, listen, there's a lot of good pitches that you can pick up later on. That
absolutely.
It always turns out. Names and studs, everyone gets enamored by them, and
100%.
that's who they are. And
that's 100%.
Me in the first 2 rounds,
you don't have a pick this year.
But if I have 2 second-round picks,
all right,
I have never, and I will never pick a pitcher in the first 2 rounds. Ever.
No, I mean, again, like I said, unless someone like, I mean, if a Cole or DeGrom, like one of the top studs, like if a Cole dropped you in one of your 2 picks, you're taking him.
I have the 23rd and 24th pick.
If Cole drops you for one of those 2, you're taking him.
Yes, then I would take him. Then I would take Cole.
Yeah.
But only Cole. If
correct.
Verlander was there and Verlander dropped to me, I would take him. If Scherzer dropped to me, even though I think Scherzer is the number 2 guy behind Cole, I love Scherzer. He's just phenomenal. He does it every year. If he dropped to me, I wouldn't. The only reason I would take Cole is because he's a Yankee. Other than that, I would never take a pitcher because in the 3rd round, 4th round, you can still get a stud and not pay a premium. That's all in a draft. The premium you pay round to round to round to round decides how good your draft is going to be. So now if you're overpaying for a player, that negates your whole draft plan.
Right. No, I get what you're saying there. I completely understand. Another guy I want to bring up, and Jason, actually, you're in a league with this guy because he is in our league. So yeah, Ross, one of the guys thinks, you're easy pickings, man. They don't know.
He's so right.
Yeah.
He's so right. He is so right.
I don't think they know.
He can call me for a trade anytime. I'm easy. Don't worry about it.
One guy I want to ask you about, again, you want to talk about not having really much of a basis point. not having a much of a basis point on the person, but I'm going to destroy this guy's name. But UC Kikuchi on Seattle. Where do we see this guy? I mean, Asian pitchers over the past 5-6 years. I mean, minus Tanaka, my memory is not serving me correct, but minus Tanaka, I mean, has any Japanese pitcher really come over and excelled? I mean,
Joey, I list 80 pitchers on my list of guys that I want to draft if they're available.
Right.
Kikuchi's not on my list. I just don't like him.
Listen, and that's fine. I'm curious as to where people see him. So I'm quoting Kikuchi right now on Fantasy Pros. So I mean, they have him. They have him ranked right around Domingo Germán, Zach Davies, Framber Valdez, Noah Syndergaard, Nate Pearson. So they have him on the lower end. They don't see much, but I'm just curious. I know that one of our viewers, Frankie Montgoras, is a huge Seattle fan, so I'm sure he'll tell you to draft him in like the 5th round. But I just don't see much. I don't see much on him. I was just curious as to what everyone's views are. Oh, and here's some breaking news. Or not breaking news. It happened earlier, but the Mets turned a triple play. Look at them. They're always the Mets. They're always performing well in spring training.
For that Seattle fan, Flexen and Gilbert on Seattle are much better picks than Kikuchi.
Oh, absolutely.
Flexen was great in Korea. I think he should have a nice solid year. Gilbert, who's a rookie, is a great prospect. Again, he's a prospect, but I would pick him before I would pick Kikuchi. So
I just looked at Kikuchi. He's got a 5.3 ERA. How's this guy even on a team?
I just don't like him. Marco Gonzalez, I like him a lot. And, of course, Paxton. So, I mean, Kikuchi is there, but you don't have to love Kikuchi because he's on Seattle. Seattle has ample pitching.
Yeah. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I was the biggest critic of James Paxton. I really was. I mean, that's kind of my duty as a Yankee fan is to be critical of everybody that pitches for us, right? But when I put together the picture that we posted up earlier of the 6 pitchers, not for nothing, you can make an argument for James Paxton being number 1 on that list. Only 136 games started. So that whatever, you have to assume injuries, right? Because everyone pitched the same amount of years. 753 innings pitched, but out of 136 starts, 57 wins. His winning percentage is through the roof.
He's a really good pitcher, Paxton. That's why I have him in my top 20. I like Paxton. I mean, listen, my list is for a points league who relies heavily on wins. Strikeouts, of course, innings pitch, you get points here and there.
But of course.
The big points that we in our points league is wins and strikeouts. So anyone who's gonna pitch has a good ERA, a good whip. I don't chase wins. I look at pitchers who can pitch innings, who has a solid ERA, whip, and can get strikeouts. Those are guys that I put in my first list. Why? Because those are guys, because they're pitching innings and they're not giving up a lot of runs and they're striking out a lot of players, they can get you a win. Because even if your team doesn't score a lot of runs, like the Dodgers or the Yankees or San Diego, they can still get you a win. That's why I like Paxton, because even though he's on a Seattle team, Seattle can still hit. But it doesn't have to be a monster lineup for him to get wins. A guy like Marquise, if you're in a roto league, you can't like Marquise. But if you're in a league that wants strikeouts and wants innings pitched and wants wins, Marquise is extremely solid. He falls late every year because he's on Colorado and because he's a pitcher. But if you're in a points league, Marquise is extremely solid. So, I mean, those are guys for you to look at. In a points league, innings, strikeouts, those are main things for you to look at. ERA, whip, strikeouts, of course, always strikeouts. Those are roto numbers. You need low ERA, low whip. So it all depends on what you're drafting for, if you're for points, if you're drafting for roto. But I like to go for, like I said, innings, strikeouts, a solid ERA. Those are kind of guys that can pitch and get you wins. The more
No, of
innings
course.
a pitcher pitches, the more chances he has to win the game, Joe.
Understood. No, and I just want to comment on Angelo because he was like, because you were mentioning about the low wins and whatnot. So he said that DeGrom a few years ago won the Cy Young and still has low win numbers. Absolutely, but you got to keep in mind, Angelo, you got to separate it because Cy Young is one thing, fantasy is another. Cy Young, you can win with low win totals if your other numbers are outrageous. Fantasy, it's going to be super difficult to win with low wins because low wins and, like we said, chasing saves, wins and saves are two of the toughest to well, saves is, I think, is a little bit easier than wins, but whatever. But it's tough. You have to separate the two a little bit. So yeah. So I mean, Ross, we've kind of gone who we liked, kind of gone who we think. So my question is, who's the guy you're staying away from?
The thing is this. When I make my list, I don't put the guy that I'm staying away from. I put the guys I like. Now, guys that are like nothing special. I mean, obviously. I mean, there's a long list of guys that I have that they're nothing special.
Well, no, not those, Ross. I'm talking about who are the guys. You've done a couple of drafts so far, right? Correct?
Yes.
Who are the guys that you're sitting there, you're watching these people bid on them or they draft them and you just are the sucker. Like you kind of scoff at the pick. Who's that guy? Everyone knows who that guy's going to be for me.
But in pitching, Joe, it's a little different. I look at value. Like for instance, Scherzer goes up. I love Scherzer. I want Scherzer on my team. But am I gonna bid $60 for Scherzer? That's just not me. I don't want to bid $60 for Scherzer. We have 23 players to draft. So you wanna have studs on your team. I'm just not the type of guy that spends a lot for one player. I'm not the type of guy that spends 110 for Trout. I just don't. I don't spend 100 for Acuna. I love Soto, but I'm not spending 100 for him. Instead of having Soto for 100, I'd rather have two players for 50. So that's just my type of drafting. Not saying that I don't go after studs. I just like to go after values. Different guys draft differently. And obviously, everyone wants the stud when you're picking. So I really can't answer your question of who to stay away from, Joe, because I just don't draft like that. I'm the wrong person to ask that question.
All right. Well, I'll answer it for you. So
Besides Bauer, don't say Bauer again. Don't say Muncie. Muncie is the best thing you can say.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's made it into the show. Max Muncie. Look at that. There he is. Greatest player ever. Muncie, yeah, if Ross had the chance to do like the Mount Rushmore of baseball, Max Muncie would be all five. Because he played five. Because he five
Saturday, Joe.
Yeah, because he played.
He went for 47, and I just didn't. For me, that was just too high. I love the guy, but it's just too high.
Couple of guys that I'm looking at that I think are kind of overvalued right now. And here, Ross, see someone agrees with you, Ross. This is Mike. He's one of the guys in our league. He said he agrees with overspending on one player. It doesn't make sense, especially when you have. I think the truest form of fantasy is going to be an auction league. I think it's the most fun, but it also is the most strategic. You really have to spend your money correctly, because if you don't, you're stuck with a lot of not so good guys. But that's besides the point. For me, besides the player who shall not be named, who pitches in Los Angeles, two guys that I'm kind of staying away from. One is Joe Musgrove. Traded over to the Padres. I like him. I just think that too many people are jumping on the San Diego Padre bandwagon and really jumping up his value a little bit higher than it should be. I think he's a good player. I think he's a serviceable player, but I just feel that he is going way too high. Ross, Billy Punch has a question.
I have Musgroves in my third tier. I have him in. So
I've seen him so far in the drafts that I've done. I've seen him jumping.
Yeah, he could be a good Joe. I'm not going to take him off my list, but I'm not going to make him
again. And that's not what I'm saying is I'm not saying to take the player off the list, but what I'm saying is what I've noticed is the players whose value is jumping further than it needs to be. Billy has a question for you. He said for the guy who he wants to know $47 on Max Muncie. Who bid on that? Was it Stevie Wonder?
Listen, Muncie qualifies at second, first, and third. So for a second baseman,
and in Ross's heart,
if for a second baseman, he's phenomenal. So if you qualify him as a first baseman and compare him to Abreu, I mean, he's not worth it. But if you qualify him as a second baseman, he's definitely worth it. Now, at the time, I had Merrifield already. He qualifies at second base. So maybe I would have bid 48, 49 for Muncie if I didn't have Merrifield. But since I had him already, it didn't make any sense for me to overpay.
All right. And then the other guy, real quick, I just want to get into that. The other guy that I see going a lot higher than he probably should be. Again, I think he's a solid pitcher, but I think Zach Gallen is going way, way too high. He is.
Where is he going, Gallen?
I've seen Zach Gallen going as high as 5th round, and I think that's insane. No, Ross, I've seen it. It's a 3 ERA and a 1.2 WHIP. I mean, it's solid numbers, but again, on a really bad Arizona team, I can't see him going that far. But all right, Ross, we're going to give the people what they came for. We are going to draft. Listen, we're doing everything live on the air. This is the way it is. We are going to be, for everyone not aware, next Wednesday night, for the first time ever, the fantasy team is having our live baseball draft on the air. You're going to get to follow along with us, make fun of us, criticize, critique, everything.
Excuse me, Joe. Let me just clarify.
Yeah.
Make fun of you guys, not me.
Oh, yes. Right. Ross is the greatest. So Ross will make fun of all of us and our picks and say how his team is the greatest. But we're going to share the screen right now. I have everybody in to 20-second spin. So we are going to go. So let's see who is going to get pick number 1. And most likely, got to assume it's going to be Trout. So here we go. So pick number 1 in the first annual Fantasy Scene Draft is going to Russell. Doesn't look like it's going to be us. It is going to be Schlemmer, Chris Schlemmer, with the number 1 pick. He is you know what, Ross? He is a diehard Cardinals fan. It would not surprise me in the slightest bit if for some ungodly reason he takes Nolan Arenado. Would not be surprised in the slightest bit. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
Pick number 2. Here we go. Ross, you're getting the last pick. I fixed this. You only get one pick,
don't.
and then you have to. Then it's all backups the rest of the way.
Doesn't
Pick
matter.
number 2
Master
is going to
picker.
be Eric. Eric. All right, Eric McKenna. Number 2. Here we go. Number 3. Let's see where we are. I'm sorry, Ross. You're out of the loop again. Me and you. I don't know why I put us right next to each other. We're never going to win anything.
I don't
All
care
right,
what pick I get. It's
John,
for sale. Whatever pick it is.
John, number 3. All right, here we go. Yeah, he's already trading his pick. He doesn't even know what pick he's got. So, Ross, I don't know if you answered or you saw the thing, but the league is now a points keeper league. Oh! Do I squeeze in?
No.
Number 4. I get number 4. Yes. That means I'm getting one of my guys. Nice. All right, here we go. Oof. It's Ross, I feel strong about this one. I feel good about this one. This looks like Ross is number 5. Ross is number 5. Right in the middle of the draft.
Nice.
Where you could do most of your damage. Here we go. Number 6.
You can post the number 5 pick is available.
Well, most of the guys that are in the league are watching right now, so they've already heard you. The number 5 pick is available. All right, here we go. It looks like it's going to be Mike. Mike, pick number 6. Here we go. Number 7.
5.
What happened?
I'm taking Muncie, number 5.
Nah, I would not surprise anybody in the league if that's what you did. All right, here we go. Looks like Eric. Then Lauren is next. Okay. Eric. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see who's pick number 7. Ross, no, you're off the board already. Let's see. Yes, Angela, this is for the baseball fantasy. Hold on, Angela. Wait a second. I just realized something. Hold on. Angelo, did I miss you? I think I might have missed Angelo. Hold on. I did miss Angelo.
You left him off the board?
We left him off the board. We got to do this again. Sorry. Only fair to Angelo. So we're going to do this again.
Pick 13.
No, we can't do that. Sorry, Angelo. My bad. For some reason, I left you off the board. He said, I'll take the first round. No problem. Angelo, you get to take all of the picks in the first round. No problem. All right, here we go. So sorry, Schlemmer. You no longer have the first pick. All right, we're going to start this over again. Here we go. First pick in the inaugural.
Joe gets the first pick. It's fixed.
It's fixed. I just clicked the button. I put it in. That's it.
If Ross gets the first pick, it's not fixed.
It's going to be me. No, it's Angelo. No, it's me. Yes. Oh, that was the most fun.
I decline participation in this league. It's fixed.
Yeah. Wow, Angelo, that's confidence. He said, give me number 13. I'll still ruin you guys. That was close, Angelo. That's as close as you could possibly get. That was literally. All right, Mike, number 2. All right, here we go. Thank you, Angelo. First trade is on me. All right, buddy. I'll take the first bad trade from you for giving me the first pick. All right, here we go. Pick number 3. Looks like it's going to be Dom D. Dom D it is. All right, here we go. By the way, Ross, have you been following up on any March Madness? I know you usually do that pool. This is insane. I've never seen upsets like this in my life. This is legitimately March Madness.
I had 6 teams going in for the NCAA pool. I have Oregon. I have Oregon State. I have Houston, and I have Colorado left playing today.
Okay. Well, it looks like Cinderella of Abilene Christian is going to get sent home, and so does Ohio. I mean, Ohio's down by 15.5. UCLA down up 17. Pick number 5 goes to Eric V. Okay.
Do we have a Colorado score yet?
No. Colorado's the late game tonight. 7:45 against Florida State. That's going to be a tough game. Vegas has it -1. Vegas won, so it's pretty much a pick 'em at this point. Let's see. It is Wayne with pick 6. Sorry, Ross, you got demoted over here. You got demoted. Pac-12 is undefeated, and I think the Big Ten is winless. Terrible. Big Ten.
I'll take the 12th pick. I like the 12th pick.
Big Ten, absolute terrible. Eric McKenna, number 7. Absolutely terrible performance by. Yeah, you know what, Angelo? If you still go last after me adding you back, I'm going to be not annoyed because I got the first pick now. But I'd be really mad if I was somebody else. Yeah, ACC has been awful as well. Here we go. Angelo. Pick number 8. Very nice. Ross, I fixed it for you to be the last pick, so it doesn't make a difference. You actually get pick 15. You don't even get a first round pick.
I don't need it.
Here
Just
we
like
go.
Angelo said, I don't need a first round pick.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Jason. All right, here we go. Let's get these last 3. No, is it 3 or 4? I can't even tell. Nope, 4. Looks like it's going to be Schlemmer. Nope. John M. holds on for number 9. Here we go. Pick number 10. Rossi, looks like you're getting 10. And it's down to Tony TNT and Chris Schlemmer for the last 2 picks. And then we have Angelo said Ross gets last for thinking Kluber is tier 1. All right. TNT is number 11, which
wins and 210 strikeouts, then come back to me.
Angelo, all I know is you might get an angry email from Chris Schlemmer because he just went from first pick to last pick thanks to adding your name back.
I demand a recount.
Sorry, we're not going to add any numbers at 2 a.m. So let's stop the screen. So we have our draft. We have it set up, ready for next Wednesday night, 6:00 live. Some of the guys are going to jump on the screen with us, Ross. It's going to be fun. Definitely added new dynamic to drafting. Yeah, Big Oof is right. That's like a bad beat right there. That's like if you had Texas the other night. Let's leave them off with something, Rossi. Tonight we'll do a little different. Tonight you got 4 games. You got Michigan, LSU, Colorado, Florida State, Alabama, Maryland, USC, Kansas. Give me an upset.
The difficult. Well, obviously, Colorado and Florida State, there's no either team wins there. Michigan, LSU, I mean, they're all tight games. If I got to say one, maybe, I don't know. I think Colorado could beat Florida State.
All right.
It's not really an upset, but I mean, because it's a coin flip. But
I think tonight,
USC over Kansas. I mean, that's a pick'em game also, but it's a 6 beating a 3. I can see USC beating Kansas.
No, absolutely. I think after tonight there'll only be 2 number 1 seeds remaining. I see Michigan going down to LSU.
Listen. Anything can happen, but I don't see Michigan losing to LSU.
Mike, I hope you're not right because I got Alabama going deep. So I really hope Maryland doesn't upset Alabama tonight. But I think Alabama. I have Alabama. I have Alabama. I have Alabama in my Final Four. My champion is Gonzaga. I just think they're head and shoulders above everybody else. And I actually have Gonzaga, Arkansas as my championship game. Who's your championship game, Ross? Who's your pick? Who did you pick? I mean, I know you did a bracket. Who'd you pick?
I didn't fill out a bracket. I don't follow college basketball enough for me to give any kind of advice.
Neither do I. Listen, there is absolutely one thing I've learned is there is absolutely no skill level needed to do that. That's it. Jason, you have pick number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are pick number 9, Jason. Number 9. We actually had to redo the draft because I forgot to put Angelo in the draft. So I went from having the 4th pick to the 1st pick. Yay me. Schlemmer, not so much luck. He went from 1 to 12. Sorry, buddy. Yep. So, guys, we will be back Wednesday. We're going to go over the NL West. We're going to go over relief pitchers. Kind of explain to you why saves are a pretty big deal and why relief pitchers are things you should be looking at in your draft. Sneaky little guys that can really fill the stat sheet for you. But for myself, my good friend Ross, I bid you adieu. Adios.
Everyone have a good night. Thank you.
Have a good one.